folks, welcome back to my channel. Today I am coming back to Canada. So you see I'm in my room, everything packed. My voice is a little off because of some of the things I'll explain later. And today I'll focus on a little conclusion of my trip in terms of traveling tips at the beginning, and also some of the things that you need to pay attention to when you choose your trip to Japan. And at the end, I'll give you also a little conclusion of all the spiritual experience in this trip. It's not just a traveling trip for me. It was like a huge spiritual experience, especially come like the second part of my trip, and I'll put it in the second part of this video. So my spiritual friends, please stay around until the end of the video. There are valuable information that you might want to know if you choose to travel, including Japan, anywhere to the world. Pay attention to the spiritual aspect of the traveling. So first, the traveling tips. As all traveling vlog will tell you, what to pay attention to, prices and all that. In terms of that, when you think about accommodation, 3 stars up are already very good. You don't need to bring a whole lot of things. Most hotels, all the hotels provide all the little toiletry stuff, way more than you can expect. Like I got combs and I got everything, like even like mask and stickers for paint and stuff. So you don't need to bring a whole lot of things if you're not very fancy about your own thing. Of course, you want to bring your own toiletry if you don't like their stuff. But in general, like people use their own lotions and everything, no problem. But I brought my own because I like all natural products. So I want to be using something that I feel comfortable with. But in terms of hair dryer, toothbrush, razor, shower cap, even slippers. Don't bring slippers. Every hotel here give you slippers, one or the other. Even if there's only one that did not, but I got one beforehand, so from the previous one. So don't bring too many stuff because things are cheap here. You will buy things here. I am not a very much of a shopper. I don't like big brand name either, so I didn't expect that I'll be buying anything, so I brought very light luggage. At the end, I have to buy another luggage because they're really necessity. They're much cheaper than North America, Europe, and even some part of Asia. And it's nice stuff. Even when you go to dollar store, they have nice stuff. But just pay attention to like they have a mix of nice and not nice stuff. So you need to really pay attention to what you need, but not overbuy it. So, but prepare to have some room for some shopping, which is part of the fun here. Okay, because everything closed around 5 o'clock. Latest, I never seen anything still open after 6 for all the attractions. So anything after 5 o'clock, it's become shopping. That's almost like the only thing you can do besides eating. So you will shop. You will, because there's nothing else to do. Okay. In terms of how much you need to bring, I find myself, I'm not, again, big shopper, but I shop a little bit of necessity stuff, cute stuff, little stuff. Still have some clothing. Outlet Mall have some really good stuff. I find myself with everything in account, not calculating accommodation, because accommodation, a lot of them are prepaid, or I put a extra lump sum aside for that. And if you just think about commute, because transportation is a big expense here. Try to get package ticket before you go to Japan, like railway ticket that you can exchange for X amount of days passes, that kind of thing. It will save you a huge bunch. And JR passes, local passes, bus passes, subway passes, or even like tourist bundle passes that includes train, subway, buses, and some attractions. So do your researches, plan like at least a few spots that you will hit and see if there's like bundle packages for that. It will save you a whole lot of money than paying each trip all the time. So be prepared to get lost. Sorry, I forgot to tell you the budget. Okay, so for me, for commute and food and some shopping, and attraction admission and stuff, I found that about 100 Canadian to 100 Canadian to 100 US would be sufficient, depending on how fancy you want to eat. I like fancy food every now and then, so I found that 100 Canadian, it's a little tight. But food, no matter what grade here, is all great. It's just sometimes I want a little change of different setting, different atmosphere. Also, talking about food, there are still a lot of cities that allow smoking inside of the restaurant. So when you go into a restaurant, number one, you smell. Smells there is like cigarettes around. Ask them if they have non-smoking sitting. I don't like, even when they separate smoking and non-smoking, you still smell them. So I try to find totally non-smoking places to eat. That's one thing you need to pay attention. For hotel, it's the same thing. New hotel, usually if it was built from last year or maybe 2017 on, they're all non-smoking usually. Anything that is before them could have a much higher probability that they have smoking area or even smoking facility. Like the one that I'm in here right now, they have a kind of like a slot machine place, pinball machine places that is very common here, and people smoke like crazy. And I'm living on the 11th floor, I can still smell it here. But older hotel give you more room. It's kind of like US standard sizes. But newer hotel is like half the size here. Okay, yes, I'm serious. Half the size for 2 people. So give or take, you figure out what you can stand with, what you cannot stand with, and you go with the price and the feature. But pay attention to newer hotel, most likely would have more little amenities, but no closet. Older hotel would have like full amenities of a regular hotel in like other places of the world. But a big chance that they have smoking facilities. That doesn't matter what floor you live in. Non-smoking floor is really virtually no much difference because you still go past those smoking area. So another thing about currency here is, of course, it's Japanese yen. I am Canadian. I brought Canadian dollar here, but I've just learned that Canadian dollar cannot be traded in Japan. So my Canadian dollar is useless here. What they trade is Singapore dollar, Hong Kong dollar, American dollar, and some euro and all those stuff. But Canadian dollar, my Canadian friend, I'm sorry, they don't trade Canadian dollar here. So you either get enough yen in Canadian before you leave the country, or you get US dollar for emergency money. So I have a combination of both. I bought Canadian, I bought US, I'm not sure because US is always like everywhere is okay. I bought a lot of yen. Still at the end, I trade a little bit of, I was so lucky because I actually asked my Celestial Guidance help and find a hidden exchanger, which is a nice guy. English speaking, and because he will travel to Canada soon, so he is willing to trade my Canadian money with his yen, and he's like, yeah, currency place. Yeah, he was the one who told me that Canadian dollar cannot be traded within Japan. They have to go outside to use it. So I was lucky to be able to trade some of the Canadian, but you may not be able to catch people like that. So bring US as emergency money. Bring Canadian just a little bit for you to get by in and out of the Canadian airport. So enough about currency. And talking about language, yes, most people in Japan, they can listen to very little English. I would say for the people I personally encounter, 80% do not speak anything at all. Like even yes or no, they try not to say it. They would just say Japanese back to you. But they might understand a little bit with a lot of body language. So I would find as a Canadian Chinese, I get by easier using Chinese more than using English. So if you're planning to travel to Japan, in the next year or 2 year, it will be very useful if you learn some simple Japanese pronunciation and learn to read the map. It's a mess. Do not rely on Google. Me and my friend has been circling around within a 1 kilometer area for like an hour, did not know where we are, because the Google doesn't work very well with places that have high rises. Number one, the signal is it lost very often. Sometimes the coordination is not right. If you've been through downtown with Google Map, you understand what I'm saying. Like sometimes you go into a little narrow alley, the signal is like, where am I? It's lost. And also, some places you need to go underground to get by because you cannot go through ground level. Like there is actually no access through ground level. You need to go underground. Sometimes you need to go second floor to bridges to get over a road. So pay attention to those little details on Google. They do not really tell you too much, but you need to pay attention to, okay, if there is a scale of number all of a sudden appear on the side of the Google Map, that means there are high rises. You need to press the high rises, see if the Google Map worked. So those are little details. I will not talk too much, but if you want more details about that, you can actually contact me. I'll give you more details personally. But yeah, do not expect that Google Map will get you everywhere efficiently. It will get you there eventually, but might not be efficiently. So do not plan your time too tight, like in between traveling and commuting, especially like time schedule for train, time schedule for buses. Yeah, make some time for you to be able to walk there. Sometimes like if I know I'm gonna walk, like if I've never been to a place and I know the walking distance Google Maps at 15 minutes, I will save 30 minutes just to be able to find the place. So this is the idea. Talking about train schedule, yes, if you have all those like ticket package, read the fine print. It will actually tell you to get reserved seat ticket at the exchange booth at the ticket office, and then you can reserve seat before the train, and then make sure you get the seat because a lot of times the train are full. When you get there, it's like, okay, the train is full, the next one is an hour later. What do you do, right? So reserve all your must go places tickets when you already, like first thing in when you hit the city, when you come out from the airport, when you come out from the train station, you go to the ticket office, exchange for all the tickets you need for all the far away attractions that require train and stuff. Reserve the seat. It will save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle. Okay, talking about food here. If you are vegetarian, be prepared to eat a lot of carbs because vegetable here very, very rarely served. Like they give you a small little amount of vegetables, but that's about it. If you're like very used to, I have a lot of friends eat big bowls of salad. It's virtually, unless you go to all you can eat or more westernized kind of cafe and restaurant, then you can find like salad and all the stuff easier. If you go to like regular Japanese food, be prepared to buy some fruit and go veggies and go eat inside of your hotel. So have something handy for you to be able to do that. They use a lot of packaging and plastic bag. Always say no to too much packaging. They have a tendency of one little bun, 10 different wraps to give you that bun. It's really unnecessary. Especially all my friends here are very environmentally conscious. I wish we people who are more used to, like they are very specific in recycling, also garbage. You cannot find garbage can out on the street. Be prepared to bring your own bag for your own garbage and dump it in your hotel. That's another thing. So even though they have a very good recycling system, but their mindset is still like they like to wrap a lot around everything. So everything is a lot of packaging around it. So try to avoid too much of plastic bag. Otherwise, at the end, you'll find that you're dumping a big bag of plastic bag before you hit the airport and come back. So I don't want to do that. So every time I bring my own bag, and also I tell them no back, no back, no back. Just use your hand, go in front of their face and say no back. Don't just say it. Don't just say it. You just say it, they don't hit. When they try to pack your stuff, put your hand almost in front of them and go like no back, no back, no back. Thank you. And that's done. Okay. So no offense to my Japanese friend, this is like just my personal experience, but probably you'll have a big laugh right now. Anyhow, so that's basically about the traveling tips that I have so far. I may have more later if you have a specific question that you want to ask. If you're planning to travel to Japan and you're not sure about something, welcome to ask me, message me. If you have personal contact with me, you can call me up and stuff. Okay, so leave a comment if you have any questions here on also go to my Facebook, leave a comment on the post or Instagram whatsoever. Okay, so now this is the part of the spiritual journey. If you're not interested in the spiritual part, you can stop the video now, and I thank you for watching up to this point. All right, so my spiritual friends, I went to my biggest spiritual experience in Japan. Would not name anything second to that. It's when I go to Hiroshima. If you have saw my Facebook post, you probably have seen a hint that I couldn't take pictures on many sites. That's one thing that I want my spiritual friends to know, that was like, I was guided to say it now, that when you take pictures and send it out, if you copy and paste the details and also the emotions and send it out. You understand what I'm saying? You copy and paste. If there was pain, you copy and paste and distribute that pain to many if there's still pain inside. So if you have power to transcend pain, to transmute certain entities, stuck beings or whatsoever, do your work first before you take pictures. Always remember, wherever you go, this is universal now, not just here, but I found it here. I finally learned my lesson. Do your energy work before you take any picture, especially war zone, war site, historical places where you feel residual emotions or residual beings. Transcend them first, help them first. Then when you take the picture is clean. Then when you send it out, you're not duplicating their pain to other people. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, always remember that. Do your work before you take picture. And also do your work, then you can enjoy the site much more safely. Especially places like because when I was starting to be awakened, one of the boot camp that I got from my master's, ascended masters, one of the instruction is to go to cemetery, historical site, to transcend those emotions, those beings. So for the longest time, I know there are a lot of things still stuck there, but not a lot of people know. You may sense it, you may avoid it, but you may not know how to deal with it. But now so many of you have awakened. I want you to start to look at, go to play when you travel. Go to those places. When you go to them, you will go to them, like all the historical sites, museum, you see a mummy, whatever, okay, a tomb or cemetery. Do your work first. Help them, and also help yourself, because you want to be able to maneuver in these places, not being bombarded by all this different energy. So do the work, help yourself and help others. Always remember that. There are places that you might need shielding. So ask your guides, what do you need to do? Always be in tune, especially you go to places that you're not very sure. Always be in tune. And so you get enough guidance to help you get by. Another thing is, when I was in Hiroshima, I found that a lot of beings, a lot of dead people are still stuck within dimensions. That's what I said in the comment post. So there's still a lot of them that I could not help so far. And after the huge immense of release that I did there, I have been sick for almost a week now. That's why my voice is like that. There's so much being transcended, and at the same time, our dark side will be pulled up by the same energy. So be prepared when you go to this site that it might not necessarily be their energy that linger. It could be just their energy trigger your dark side. And I actually have a huge conversation with my own dark side last night all the way up to this morning to be able to help me be able to speak now. Now I can speak no problem. Last night I was like that. Anyhow, be prepared that when you go to anywhere that is intense, like Hiroshima, Nagasaki, like places that have been bombarded, bombed, have tons of wars around, which is a lot. Like you go to anywhere, not just Japan, you go to anywhere in the world, there are a lot of war zones. Whatever that triggers, do your work, do your work, do your work, do your work, do your work. Please do your work. It's for them, it's for you, it's for everyone. And I think also it's time to understand that we are all earthlings. We are all residents of the world. It's time to put down limitations of nationality. It's time to put down who is more right, who is more wrong in the past, in the history. Because if we count all the millenniums of the years, there has been someone more right, someone more wrong anyway. And it's really countless of encounters that accumulate so much karma to be able to create a bomb like this. Who is more right, who is more wrong really cannot be counted anymore. And it's not important anymore. Yes, some people have suffered a lot, so this bomb have to come by and stop it. Yes, but these people become so cruel to kill so many people. They have also been bullied for centuries. I hope in between, as a Chinese, I'm in Japan right now. And I'm being very specific now. I hope no one bombard me with anything. But this is just my personal take on it. Being a Chinese in Japan, I see Japanese people are very friendly, well-mannered, very polite, and also quite fearful because of all the things that have happened. And they have a lot of guilt too. And a lot of them did not agree with what their ancestors have done. And as Chinese, I see we still hold a lot of grudges. We still hold a lot of anger. But be honest, before Japan started the Second World War, way before that, the Chinese over many dynasties have bullied the Japanese. So my Chinese friend, please understand that there's really no who is more right, who is more wrong now if you take all the ancestors into account. You just cannot count it. You'll get lost. And you'll just keep running into the same karma, hating each other. So why not stop now? Why not stop the karma now? Use forgiveness. What is forgiveness? You've been wrong, you've been suffered by someone's doing. That's why you have extra power to forgive. If you've been all the way, you've been right all the time, you do not have that extra power to forgive. Forgiveness is extra, and it gives extra blessings. It's extra love. It's much stronger than the equal rightful love. It's much higher law. All my Christian friend, LDS friend, learn the way of Christ. This is my heart yearning to you. Who is right, who is wrong is not important anymore. Jesus did not do anything wrong. He got crucified at the end. And even at the end, before he stopped breathing, he still asked Father to forgive all of these people. You guys went to church for decades. What have you learned from him? It's not about right or wrong anymore. That's never the way of Christ. Way of Christ is love, compassion, service, and forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgiveness means even though I was being wronged, even though someone did something to me not lawfully, not rightfully, I still love them. I did not necessarily agree with what they're doing, but I still love them. I forgive them. This is forgiveness, high law. Do not get yourself stuck in the who is more right, who is more wrong, who suffer more, who suffer less. Do not get yourself stuck there. Ascension doesn't come with that. Celestial kingdom doesn't reside in that. Look bigger. Look from Christ's perspective. Forgiveness. It's so needed. It's so needed. All my spiritual friends, Christian friends, Japanese friends, Chinese friends, whoever friends, doesn't matter. We are all residents of the world. We all live here on this earth. Let's love each other. No more boundaries. I wish you well. Namaste.